Today's video is all about testing out this Garvee quick hitch that they sent to me a few weeks ago for free to try out and make a couple of videos with, and I'm fulfilling that obligation today by making this second video. I wanted to get out the land plane Catawba attachments and see just how well that this Garvee quick hitch would hold up to the implement. I also wanted to tell if this thing was going to bounce all around, how it was going to hold up to 700 pounds plus dragging weight behind this L2501 Kubota. I'm going to let this play for a little bit without me talking or any music, just so that you can see the implement is bouncing around some here in the beginning. I had a feeling that it would. I'll explain in a little bit why I think that is. I did notice after I put some down pressure on it, which really is just the weight of the implement, because the way that these quick hitches are designed, it's hard to really get any down pressure unless there's some bushings down where your 3-point hitch actually hooks up, so that you can actually get a little down pressure. So basically it's 700 pounds of weight is what I end up. It does pretty good, but right through here you can see it's kind of jumping a little bit, leaving really an unsmooth finish behind me. Not terrible, but not what I'm used to. You'll see here in just a little bit when the thing drops down, it'll smooth out, and this thing it'll do a pretty good job. I don't ever cut really aggressively with the land plane when I'm working on a road, because there's not a whole lot of road base here. There's a whole lot of sand because we're at the coast. So I just skim along, fill in potholes, and every time we have a bad rain, I end up having to do it again. But I'm just pulling up bits and pieces of old crushed concrete and old gravel that'll come back to the surface, fill in some holes. After a hard rain, you got to do it again. As you can see there, somebody came in on a pickup truck the other day just goofing off and decided to do some power braking on our dirt road, digging some holes along the way. So that's why I'm out here calling for rain tomorrow and the next day, so we'll patch it so it doesn't get worse. So guys, I wanted to do a real world test of this Garvee quick attach that you saw another video that I did on it, putting the thing together, hooking it up to the tractor. But I wanted to do a real world test with my land leveler from Catawba Attachments, or land planes some people call them, to see just how it would handle that piece of equipment. Would it keep it from bouncing around? I was unsure about that. Would this thing rattle apart? Because I have not put any Loctite on anything. Just how would it do? Would my land leveler function the same as just hooked to the 3-point normally? Let's get into it. How did it do? Hopefully y'all can hear me over the wind, because y'all, it has been windy for 2 days. Got some rain blowing in. That's why I needed to get on that road, because we had a monsoon come through after the snow melted to fix the road with this thing before I put the Garvee on it. And I need to go over again because there were some potholes forming from it. You get a heavy rain on a sand road, it's going to do that. As far as how this thing performed, I was not really happy with it to begin with. Normally I can go through there and just skim. I can just set my 3-point to where I got just a little bit of down pressure, and I can just skim as I'm going instead of really digging and pulling material up to flow over. Normally I'm just skimming little bits, y'all, because there's like this much road base. I mean, it's about the depth of maybe a 1/4 inch, but there is stone in there and chunks of concrete from recycled concrete that I want to pull up and fill in potholes with, and just bring that back to the surface to work itself back down and repeat the cycle. But I noticed that the front end of this thing was just kind of wanting to dig in a little bit, and it was bouncing. I'll do a voiceover, or you've seen it by now, but I'm going to do a voiceover on the video portion on the road where you're just looking down. I wanted to look and see if I could see if where this thing connects with those little U's, if it bounced any, and I'm pretty sure that it did. Now, once I put more weight of the implement itself to the ground, that bouncing eased up. Hopefully you could tell that from the video. So it will function with the land leveler or land plane. It may need some bushings in there so that there's not such a gap on those U's, because on those little hooks, because I do not like an implement bouncing. When I have it engaged to the ground, I want it to be cut and true, nice and level, not bouncing. And sometimes hard ground to do that, but in today's case, I believe it was just the simple fact that there's not such a tight connection with those hooks. It just kind of sits in there, and the way that the implement holds it, it's a great idea, and it's great. If you are having a hard time hooking up implements, it's definitely the way to go. Now, is it a game changer for this? Not at all, because it still did the job, y'all. It still did it. Once I put a little more weight to the ground, this implement functioned just fine. Now, let's take a look at the Garvee itself and see if there's been any changes to it. I'm noticing one right off the bat, y'all. Check that out. I had these on here snug, but not like wrenched down. And so the vibrations, y'all, I thought that maybe because this thing has got such a tight clearance tolerance hooking up that I didn't think they would move at all, but they did. I'm just glad that the thing didn't come apart while I was up there, but all of that bouncing and shaking is what did it. If you're going to run one of these things, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to put me a lock washer on here, a spring-loaded washer, and I may end up shooting a little bit of Loctite, but actually, because you're going to have to adjust this for whatever different implements that you're using. It's not a one-size-fits-all for the most part that I have determined already. So probably just a spring-loaded lock washer will be fine to keep that from bouncing loose, and keep an eye on this stuff. You can put some Loctite here. I just snugged them up real good, but I'm gonna put some Loctite on these down here where the dog ears come out to hold the implement in. But you can see the paint that's been removed just from this one use. And that's going to happen, that's normal. But I believe it was from a lot of shaking and vibrating in there. Like I said, a bushing in here to kind of beef that up to the actual width of that hook, I think would be better. Now, as far as these right here, didn't have any trouble with those wanting to come undone. I was concerned about that. If I hit a hard enough bump, was it gonna pop it free and make these little ears that come out to hold the implement from jumping out? Was that going to happen? Or I was also worried, you know, that's 700 pounds of weight behind me. If I got into the right situation and that implement wanted to pop out, would it bend that 1/4 inch steel? I don't think so. That's pretty stout. That would, and it don't have a lot of tolerance to move. It's got a little wiggle, but not a whole lot. So would I buy one of these Garvee quick hitch attachments for $179 with a 10% off discount in the description of the video? Garvee provided this, as you may or may not know. Yeah, I'd buy it. I sure would, because it's so easy to hook stuff up with, y'all. Yeah, you got a few points you're gonna have to put your lock washer or something on, and I believe I actually bent that bolt up a little bit. I did. The bolt bent. Get you some good grade 8 bolts. These are not grade 8 bolts. Kind of looks like a little U. That disappoints me a little bit, but y'all, for $179, the frame is stout enough. But get you some grade 8 bolts, get you something that's going to keep your nuts from coming off. Everything else looks to be good, y'all. So yeah, it's worth it compared to $600 or $700 for a name brand. And yes, those are built somewhat stouter from what I have seen. But for most of you working on your garden, on your driveway, you don't need to spend $600 or $700 for one of these things. Get one of these inexpensive ones, beef it up with some good grade 8 bolts, you'll be good to go. Guys, y'all have a good day and a great week. And thanks again to Garvee for sending this thing out. More than glad to demo it on the channel. Good day and a great week, guys. Good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise too high. We will see you on the next one.